What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It's your boy, Coach D Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals, giving you that real information when it comes to this youth baseball space, giving you the best coaches around the country over there, helping kids get into the school, man. Listen, I am joined today. Um, listen, I try to like aim to please and please to aim. Nah, I don't go like that. But anyway, I definitely want to come and just kind of give you a variety of type of schools, man. And I do my homework sometimes I don't, but this one I kind of did. And I was like, man, what's some of the top, D2 schools out here, right? Because everybody, the bells and whistles of Division One catches everybody's eyes, man. But there's some really good programs out here, and I heard a lot about this particular program in general. And man, he's rocking and rolling out there in the great state of Texas over here. And man, so I am joined today. We're gonna learn all about his school. All right. So as you guys come in, I want to again, you know how this goes. All right. I want you to tell me, where you listening from. All right, and I should give you a little shout out. And right after Coach kind of gives his little introduction of where he's from. All right. So Coach, I have all my guests come on here, man. We are joined by let me say it, Lord, Kevin Brooks from Angelo State, all right, in the great state of Texas. And if you could, man, I have all my guests come on. They got to tell me where they're from, their playing career, all the way through, man. So what's going on, Coach? You doing all right?
I'm doing great, and appreciate you having me, D.
No doubt about it, man. So, Coach, man, like I said, from the beginning, just kind of give a little background, man, on your playing career to where you are now, head coach at Angelo State.
Well, the playing career won't take long because I wasn't very good. Went to a good high school. I'd say the most interesting thing is, going to high school. I went to a good high school in Waco, Texas, Waco Midway, and got cut as a freshman. I didn't make the JV. And anyway, really, and I go back to that because it's really a turning point in my life on I wouldn't say I was probably the hardest worker up until that point. And it, sort of ticked me off a little bit, but worked my butt off and actually made the varsity as a sophomore and started. So, one of those things that really propelled me. And then luckily got a chance to go play at Baylor University as a walk-on. Nice. Coach Sullivan was great. Played there, and when I say played, they needed somebody to carry the bats and stuff, so I was good at that. But, I knew I wanted to coach, and so I just, I gathered as much information as I could. I'd go to the bullpen. I wasn't a pitcher to try to learn just as much as I could, and so invaluable experience. Graduated. Went on to Incarnate Word, which is in San Antonio. Got my master's there, GA'd, then got hired as the assistant coach there. And then after that, probably when I finally started actually getting paid and making some money, I was sitting actually recruiting, and Jim Lawler, who was the pitching coach at Texas A&M back then, was like, hey, would you be interested in coming to A&M? So I quit my job at Incarnate Word making money and went to Texas A&M to be the volunteer, which was a great experience. We were really good. We went to Omaha, got to be around Jim Lawler and Mark Janson, who's a Hall of Fame coach, and invaluable experience there. And then went to UTSA after my year at A&M. I'd gotten married. My wife was in San Antonio, so wanted to live in the same town as her. Then came out to West Texas, went to Hardin Simmons in Abilene, which is about an hour and a half from here, D3, and then Angelo State. So I lived in San Angelo at the time, so I was driving 3 hours every day round trip to Abilene, and it was then Angelo State, where I lived, decided to start baseball. And so that was in 2004. I luckily got the job, and then we started playing in 2005 and been here ever since.
Wow. So you basically started this program.
I did. So everything that's wrong is definitely my fault.
but the fact that you built a #1 program in the country over there, you could be humble, coach. That's all. It's okay, man. But That's pretty cool. I didn't. That's awesome. That's an awesome story, man. So let me give a little shout outs before we kind of get into these questions. What up, Ellis out there in Virginia? What up, Kisha out in Garland? Janson, what's up in Michigan? Bobby, what's good out there in Dallas? All right, Brenton, what's going on? Boynton Beach, Florida. All right, Darrell, what's good? Straight out of Jersey. All right, Javier, what's going on? All right, South Florida in the house. Hi, Manny, good to see you. It's funny how all the Texas schools bring some of these guys out. Manny, I ain't seen my boy in forever. I don't thought you forgot about me over here, but here he come. I got to bring a Texas school. Here he popping up. All right, all right. Mark, what's going on? Kentucky is in the house. All right. So, and man, we got a bunch. All right. What's up, Rodney, Tamarra, Mark, Carla, Anthony, Ernest. All right. Give me a little shout out where y'all listening in from. Miguel, Brad, Adam. All right. Willie B, Oscar Salazar, what's up, Mark? I said Mark. All right, Colorado, Fort Worth. Okay, all right, cool. All right, so, Coach, man, so brand new, program. You built it, and I mean, you had different stops here and there. Was it one of those things where you just, you kind of took bits and pieces of what you learned from A&M, and I always say that San Antonio school,
Incarnate Word.
Yeah, I always get that. I always chop that up.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it is. And so it just takes bits and pieces, the rights, the wrongs, and the D3 school out there in Abilene, and then that help formulate that plan of action when you start a brand new program. How tough was that, man?
Well, it was definitely a challenge, but it was so exciting, your first head coaching job, and like I say, you've got the ability to do things that it hadn't been done a previous way, so we can try. But yes, and I would say definitely I took something from every place that I'd been. But one of the big reasons I left Incarnate Word to go to A&M to a paid position to a non-paid position was I felt like I really needed to be around a program that had the means financially to do everything, which Texas A&M definitely had. And then also to be around a Hall of Fame coach that had been doing it very successfully for a very long time. So, I really tried to grasp everything. I've still, back behind me is my bookcase. I've got every practice plan from every school I've ever been at back behind here. And so took things from, Hardin Simmons, from Coach Coleman, UTSA, Mickey Lashley, Danny Heap at Incarnate Word, and then A&M. And so it was nice. At A&M is the only school I coached at that had the means to do everything. So at Angelo State, we don't have the means to do everything either. So you sort of took what they felt like was important from each place, rolled it into a big old, ball, and then we went off and started. So, but yeah, we had a plan going in, and it did draw from all those. And I would say we're really heavily influenced by Mark Johnson and what we did at A&M.
All right. So you did you ever I'm sure you have. So you start this brand new program. Did you have the normal growing pains, or did you have like a good, being in Texas, did you have a good nest egg of relationships that you were able to get good players right away? Yeah.
Well, and again, I always tell the guys that we got, we didn't get any of the guys we wanted, but we had to have a team. So now luckily, and it's amazing, out of that first group we signed, I think we had 7 off that first team that got drafted and got a chance to go play professionally.
Wow.
And it was even more amazing because the school, we got 3 scholarships the first year. But, however, I knew after year 1 we were going to have some holes we needed to go fill. So that first year we only used 1.5 scholarships. So we fielded a team with 1.5. And also I thought, that was the one thing everybody's like, well, you are going to build and, probably not be very good early. And I just didn't like that, and I didn't think that was a very good idea. So, because I just feel like whatever tag it is, if you don't win, you get that tag of a loser. And so we were going to, unrealistic, but I thought we'd win the national championship the first year, and I was really disappointed we didn't. But we ended up I think we finished second in the conference, 30-25, and then we won the conference the next year, and then the next year, we're the fastest program in NCAA history to start and reach the World Series. So we did that in year 3. So
wow, Good for you. Wow, that's awesome, man. So, all right, you getting requests already, man. So here we go. All right. Coach Brooks, do you need a 6'3", 240 lefty throwing 86? All right.
Yes. Email me or call me.
All right, cool. So it's coming. That's where it goes. All right. So, all right. So yeah, speaking of recruiting, and if you could, we're talking about Angelo State here and there, but if you could give location, the division, and that you're in, and the conference.
Okay. We're located in San Angelo, Texas, and the school is Angelo State. Lots of people, D, I've been impressed. You've gotten it right every time, but a lot of people call us San Angelo State.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Coach. I did say that yesterday, but I did a little bit of homework today, and I was like, I keep getting it. So yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah.
So, but it's right in the basically 30 miles west of the very middle of Texas. Mm-hmm. We are NCAA Division II, and then we play in the Lone Star Conference, which is the biggest conference in Division II, and it's really good baseball.
Really? Okay. What makes just a number of teams?
Yeah, I think we have 18 teams in the conference. Only 13 play baseball. 14 play baseball.
So is it like do you travel in outer state? Texas is like its own world,
Yeah, we do. We have teams in Oklahoma and New Mexico and Texas. But we're right in the middle, so our travel's not too bad. Oh, yeah, in Arkansas. That's the bad one. Hadn't been there yet. So
Okay. What school is in Arkansas that's in the conference?
Arkansas, Fort Smith.
Okay. So speaking of, kids and, Tiffany's kid and the lefty here and there, like what are some of the, where are you going to get your kids? I mean, Texas is just so loaded with talent. Do you go outside of the state to get some kids?
We do. I would say our roster breakdown, and it varies a little bit, but I'd say we're 75% Texas, 25% outside. Always felt like, and that's one of the things I've just, as we were coming up, we definitely weren't the big kid on the block, and we had to knock some dudes off and sort of pass them. And so it's tried to sort of learn from them and the things they did well and didn't. And one of the teams that we sort of passed and really hadn't gotten back up since we passed them was they started going a lot out of state. And I felt like, Texas is such a good baseball player, but, with our resources, just out of state guys, we don't get to do as much homework on, whereas Texas guy, we can go see play multiple times, get a pretty good feel for what we're getting. The out of state guys is a roll of the dice a little more. And so, and we've been real successful though with both, but we've always felt like we need to definitely control Texas and do a good job in the state and go get good players out of here. And so that'll always be true. But we're not unwilling at all to go get a real quality player from anywhere.
Nice, man. So if you could, and I got a couple questions that came in, but if you could, Coach, explain the difference of scholarships offered between Division I, Division II.
Well, it's really not that much. The biggest thing I'd say, so Division I has 11.7, and they can only give 28. I believe it's the total, I think. Yeah, 27.
27. Yeah.
27. Got to be broken up by 27. We have 9 can be broken up however we want. So, and this is another thing, and obviously it's changed in the world of college baseball. It really pains me that that's the way it is, but as a lot of people I think now are aware, a scholarship's a year-to-year deal. And this is one thing I really brought from Texas A&M, because at that time, that was sort of when it was becoming prevalent in the college game of you give everybody you bring in a big, huge scholarship. If they play good, you're like, well, Johnny, man, you played great. You hit 500 with 20 bombs, but I know you want to win, so I'm going to cut your scholarship and we're going to get some pitching. Or you don't play good and they cut the scholarship. So that – and one thing we did at Texas A&M is we brought guys in. We signed Josh Beckett for books. Okay, that was the best pitcher, the first pick in the draft, right?
I remember Josh, yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And so we signed him for books. And so we sort of kept that. We don't give huge offers early. but as you come and you play well, we give you money. So, I mean, our best pitcher, the guy that came for $500, he's on 10,000 now. And we've got 10 or 12 dudes in the locker room that fit that bill. It takes a special person to go earn it, and also trusting us that we're not filling you full of hot air. Okay. But the good thing is we got a lot of dudes that can vouch for us that's their story. And so we've stayed with it. It's worked so far. The environment has definitely changed. So, we'll see how if that continues to be the path we take. But thus far, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Let me ask you this. So what are the prices? How much does it cost to go to Angelo State? Well, and out of state?
We're really inexpensive. I think we're the second or third cheapest school in Texas, and it's a great school academically. I mean, you get a degree from here, it means something. It is tuition is about $8,700 a year, not a semester. Nice. That's for 30 hours. Total cost, if you live on campus, is about $18,000. And then the one thing, so out of state, one thing we have like the largest endowment in the state of Texas, and that's our academic scholarship. It's called the CAR scholarship. And so basically in Texas, you become an honorary Texan if you qualify for $1,000 scholarship that's competitive. So that can be academic, it can be athletic, it can be anything. So pretty much all of our out-of-state guys are honorary Texans, so they get the same cost as an in-state.
Good deal, man. So what are some of do you know, like off the top, as far as academic-wise, some of the, scholarship, opportunities there academically that you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the CAR is the big one. And
what's the requirements though? Like GPA and SAT.
If you're a transfer, 2.5 GPA is it gets you the $1,000, and then it obviously goes up from there. Right. I think the highest is 3,000 for a transfer. For a high school kid, I mean, you can go all the way up. If you're super genius, which we've had some of those that everything's covered, it's like 18,000. And then basically, if you're in the top 40% of your class and you made a 1050 on the SAT, that'll get you the 1,000, and then it goes up from there, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, so on and so forth as your scores go up.
All right, that's the information. That's what I was looking for. Okay, cool. All right. Wow, that's awesome, man. So, and even if you don't get a scholarship from some of the school prices that I've had on here, man, 18,000. That's awesome.
I know. It's a good deal. It's amazing when we started, I just generally go by tuition, but tuition was $3 in 2005. Wow. So it's tripled in 15 years. But it's amazing. And I'll have 4 in college next year. So I'm very concerned about these prices too.
At one time, you're going to have 4 in one?
Yeah, I know. Pray for me.
Wow, that is crazy. All right, so Tamarra in Georgia says, what kinds of things, if anything, should my 8-year-old be doing to prepare? And what's the likelihood of getting any scholarships, even partial?
Well, he's 8 years old, so I would say go play in the backyard and have fun.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, and you don't see it as much as you used to. And I live right. My house there's a park right behind my backyard, and I get so excited when I see just 2 guys out throwing to each other and hitting and all that stuff, and just sandlot. I think one, and play whatever sports he's playing, whatever's in season. But if he's a baseball fan, I remember my mom yelling at me all the time for throwing the tennis ball off the house and the roof and all that. But I'd go out there and do it for hours. I mean, throw a lot. It can be a baseball. It can be a football. It can be a tennis ball, whatever. Just do it and go have fun. And then obviously play in your little league or your select league or whatever during that time. And I, I'm one of these, we can get off on a whole tangent on this, and I don't know if I really want to go, but I do believe there are guys like me. I played baseball only from once I got to high school. The reason for that was I wouldn't have been able to play in college. I was not very good. So, when people use Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes and say, well, dadgum, they're unbelievable athletes.
Right,
most of us are not that good.
Yeah,
so I'm not a specializing is a bad thing. But I do think you got to wait a little bit till, 14, 15 years old. But I would say at 8, fall in love with the game of baseball and just have fun and play it in the backyard, play it with mom, dad, brother, sister. Chances of getting a scholarship. Well, one, in baseball, all scholarships are going to be partial, pretty much. You may, and it is really, really rare. And it's sort of generally, if you have to do that, the team's probably not very good because you just, I'm a Texas Ranger fan, and it's the A-Rod contract. You got the best player, but the team wasn't very good because you couldn't pay anybody else. Their numbers on that, I believe it's hard. It's slim. But, if it's one of the things I think most coaches believe, well, one, if you're doing it for the money, baseball is a bad investment. It really is.
It really is.
You're never going to recoup that unless you play in the big leagues or real high pick and get a big bonus or something. But for the majority, it's not going to pay it back. So, but if you want the opportunity to play in college, there probably is a place for you. And I really believe that.
Well said, Coach. All right. I talk about that all the time. You ain't going to get no return on investment on here.
No, not monetarily.
That's what I say. Unless your return is just watching your kids play at the next level. If that's, if you go with that mindset, then that's the biggest return you're going to get out of here. All right.
Absolutely.
Jay Meyer says, do you look to the Midwest?
Yes, we've got players from there. I actually, depending on the states, my assistant's from Ohio. We recruit quite a bit out of Iowa, Ohio. I coached in Kansas for a couple of summers, so I've got some good contacts up there. So we look anywhere that there are players, but obviously, are we making 2 or 3 recruiting trips up there a year? No, we are not. But it doesn't mean we're not talking to coaches, talking to scouts, trying to obtain video, and then, try to get them to get in front of us. That's the one thing at Division II, we do have an advantage in the fact that we can do tryouts. So guys can come down here that we really are interested in and say, hey, we get to see you in person. So we do utilize that, and it's an advantage.
All right. So speaking tryouts or anything like that, camp-wise to be seen in front of you, Coach Brooks, will you be hosting any showcases this winter? My son is a class of 2022, Rudder High School in Bryan, Texas.
All right. The college are down around Aggie Land. Yes, we've actually got one, our last one coming up January 9th. The information is actually on angelosports.com. If you click on our baseball page, I think it's got an article and a link to the brochure on there, and and there's all the information, all that stuff, and you can contact us. But yes, we got one more coming up in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
All right, that looking right, Coach, right there.
That's perfect, man. Good job.
All right, cool. All right, and Lauren says, any players from California?
It's funny. We had not, in the history of our program, had a player from California till 2 years ago. And so now we have 2 on the roster right now. We have the original had to have Tommy John, and so he's rehabbing and sitting out this year and then coming back next year. So we'll have 3 next year at least. But it's really crazy. In 15 years, we hadn't till a couple of years ago.
Wow. Okay. Jay Meyer, I ask this question a lot, but what advice do you give a 12-year-old that wants to play college baseball?
Well, again, one, watch the game. Especially Major League Baseball. They're the best players in the world, and you can learn. That's one thing I've just sort of found, in dealing with college age guys. Our guys coming in don't watch, but they watch highlights, and they very rarely sit down and watch a whole game. And so I think they're missing some things that make them better baseball players. And so that's one thing when our guys get here, we really encourage that. We always have a game on in the clubhouse, type thing. So I would say watch the game. Again, go play and have fun, and throw a lot. I've talked to a lot of doctor friends of mine, and they say, your ability to throw hard really happens when you're 8, 9, 10, 11. It's something to do with the capsule loosening up and allowing that stuff. And if it doesn't happen then, it's not going to happen when it's 17. And so throw, long toss, play catch with your dad, whatever. Throw, and then enjoy playing the game. That's the biggest thing. I think you see so many kids sort of get burnt out, and that's the one thing. I know my son is a senior this year, and I remember him coming up in the young thing, and I'm like, dadgum, man, you got more championship rings than I do. And anyway, and so it sort of pains me because I don't know what they have to look forward to, they got better gear sometimes and all that stuff. So I think the biggest problem that I see with just lots of really talented players is they get burned out sometimes at a little early age. So make sure you're having fun, enjoying it, and work at it. Hard work. That's the one thing I've sort of learned in all the years. I believe the most overrated aspect of being successful is talent. I've had so many guys that, I'll be honest, I didn't think were going to be worth anything, but they were just unbelievable workers, and they made themselves into players. Now, you got to have a certain amount of talent, but you'll see super talented guys that maybe don't have the work ethic, and they get past at some point.
I hear that all the time. What age do you start looking at kids and place them on your radar?
Well, that's funny. We were talking about that this morning in here because I got in an argument actually with my assistant coaches on how many freshmen were committed in the country, and it was unbelievable how many. So obviously you've got the verbal commitment and all that, and somehow the definition of commitment is not the same as what I used to think it was. So again, and we can just be real honest. If we get a sophomore kid to commit to Angelo State, and he gets to become the number one player ranked in the country, is he coming here? Even though he committed to us? Probably not, right?
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. And so now we think he should still come. But so we really, their junior year is when we start looking at them. And the recruiting process has really sped up. I mean, I'd say when we first started this, we really didn't sign guys until spring of their senior year. That was majority of our team. Now it's moved up to probably the end of the summer before they start their senior year is when we're getting most of the commitments. Now this year with the COVID year, it has sort of pushed things back a little bit. But, if we see a freshman or a sophomore, we make a note. Hey, I saw this guy over here as a catcher. We need to sort of follow him and look, but we're not going to actively pursue him to at least generally starting the summer of his junior year. Because the other thing is, we don't know what we need. That's way too far in advance. I mean, he may be the greatest first baseman ever, but I got an All-American over there that's a sophomore. So we don't need two of them.
Right. All right. Quincy says, see you in January 9th. That's the dad, the video I sent you.
Awesome.
Of the kid. Yeah.
Look forward to seeing y'all.
All right. I'm not sure if my question went through the first time. Deanne, I'm sorry. I don't know what you might have gave it. I think it was her son. Do you need a 6'4" right hand?
The lefty?
No, that was now this is as a righty now from Mississippi. All right, right-handed pitcher throws 88. So everybody's giving you the
heck yeah. Like I say, email me, or like I say, come to camp on the 9th is a great thing. Or my phone number's on that, so you can call me.
All right, there you go, Dan. All right. Anthony says, inform me on how many games do y'all play in a season compared to D1 or JUCOs?
Okay, well, we play 50, D1 play 56. Obviously, COVID year, everybody's different this year, so we're going to hopefully ignore this year as far as all the limitations being placed on everybody. JUCO play right about, at least in Texas, right around 50 as well. The JUCO versus 4-year, obviously we recruit against junior colleges and we get some junior colleges. But that's one thing we take pride on is our development of players. And, playing games is important, but so like in the fall, we generally, we play 24 games, but it's 24 games against us, which for us, we feel like we get really good competition with that. It allows us to evaluate 18 guys instead of 9 at a time, and then obviously the pitching load on top of that. So it's very comparable on how many games and stuff we play with both those divisions.
All right. Tiffany says that's the lefty. My son sent you, I guess, email. I hope to hear from you. All right.
I will look at it today.
All right. How many players are on the roster, including red shirts?
Well, again, this year we generally try to stay about 35 to 40. And this year with the COVID, which I was scared to death, we might have 60. Because as I've gone the fall, especially junior colleges, most of them that I've seen have 90, and it's just unbelievable.
What happens to all those kids, though? I mean, damn.
Well, unfortunately, most of them, their career comes to an end at some point. But, it's just so we've always tried to keep 35, 40. This year with the COVID, because basically, we had all our seniors come back, and we had all the dudes that we signed to replace those guys come back. So, and we were only at 42 this year, which is the highest we've ever been. So next year we got a chance to sort of get back to where we want to be, hopefully 35, 40. But 35, 40 because, we want to coach every guy. You got to have the time to work with them. And anybody that, we just don't let everybody come. And I know sometimes that obviously upsets people that want to come here, and we're just like, sorry, it's just not going to work out. But we feel it's really important to get the guy to get a manageable number, and then also to truly give those guys an opportunity. When you have 50, 60, 70, 80, I don't know if you really get a true opportunity just because too many guys to work in.
All right. All right, Stella says, "Hey, Coach Brooks, I have a 2021 6'2", throws 87 Frisco. He will be at your camp, Jeremy. Looking forward to it. That's the mom.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. That will be January 9th. That's the video I sent you. Got a lefty definitely going to look into your camp. All right, from Houston. All right, Rodney's down in Houston. All right. Do you recruit more freshmen or JUCOs?
Well, that's an interesting question, and that's something when we first started, again, as I said, we had a scholarship and a half. So if you were on any money, we needed you to come in and play. So obviously, most 21-year-olds are better than 18-year-olds, right? I mean, they're physically stronger, all that stuff. So we were very heavily junior college. And then we got a new president about 2010, 11, and love that man because our scholarships went to 9, the full. And so finally we're in a position where we could go because the one thing we sort of learned, we had a ton of walk-ons, obviously, when we first started. And basically any high school kid we got was a walk-on. We didn't give them scholarship money. Well, after about 7 years, 4 of those dudes got drafted and were like our best players. And so we're probably not getting the greatest supposed talent of walk-ons, and so they were becoming that though, and so really switched our recruiting philosophy in a big way about 2014, 15 when we got that increase in scholarship money, and we've gone the high school route a lot more because one, their ceiling's bigger, obviously, and it's worked really well for us. It was a gamble, and we knew that first year, and we had a little. I mean, we didn't have a bad year, but we had a little bit of a down tick for 1 year. But the biggest thing is we were getting in the position where we lost our whole infield every 2 years or something like that, and that's just really difficult to replace. And so, now we've gotten in the position where we're losing 2 or 3 guys every year, but then we've got 6 back, and 2 or 3 of our pitchers back, and so we're not having to totally revamp everything over and over and over again. So we've leaned more towards the high school thing than we used to.
All right. Rodney says, for pitching, what's the velo number that catches your eye?
Well, it depends. Right, left-handed, body types, all those type things. But I would say, a high school kid, right-handed, it used to be 84 to 86, to be honest with you. And now I'd say everybody throws 90 now. So I would say an 86 to 88 guy with a good arm, and then potential to be a 95 guy, which is, I hate saying that, but I mean, like we throw our rotation out. We got 96, 93, 93, and the 88, 90 guys are average now. Right. I mean, it's changed a lot.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
Left-hander, I really don't care how hard they throw, to be honest with you, if they can pitch.
Okay. Do you play any of the Division II schools out of Minnesota?
We hadn't in a while, but we played Mankato. I'm trying to think. St. Cloud, we were trying to put something together with. But, in the World Series, we've matched up with some of those guys over the years. But, we'd love for them to come down south and play. I know last time we played Mankato, I remember it was a great game. I think we beat them 1-0 in 12 innings, and it was, 55 degrees, and I have 30 layers of clothes on, and they're out taking BP and taking their shirts off because it's so hot.
Right. It's a different breed out there. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Anthony says, D. Brown hooking Coach Brooks up with all kind of arms. Coach, return the favor. Put them on to those Julio chips and salsa.
Oh, Julio's, man. This guy's been to San Angelo. The best chips and hot sauce ever. Actually, really? I had some last night at my home. So,
nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's great. And the burritos are really good, too, if you go to the restaurant.
All right. Cool deal. All right. So, the camp is January 9th. So when it comes to D2 and the playoffs, where's the D2 championship? Where do you guys play? Where is
it's
that?
In Cary, North Carolina, which is where USA Baseball is.
Okay.
They do an unbelievable job. The facility obviously is first rate, and the people there in Raleigh are just outstanding. They make the guys feel like kings. It's a great experience. So hadn't been back in a couple of years, so I thought, felt like we were going to go back last year, and so hopefully this year we'll get to go back there.
What's your toughest? I know right there in Texas is tough, man. But what do you consider your biggest rival?
Oh goodness. Well, we've got a new team in our conference, and they won the D3 national championship 2 years ago. University of Texas at Tyler, and we didn't get a chance to play them last year due to the COVID. But I think their coaches do a great job. They've got great facilities, much like we do. They're in a little better location. They're a little closer to Dallas than we are. They're going to be a really good program. West Texas A&M is is just Angelo State's rival, probably in football and in basketball and in baseball. And Coach Vandenberg's done a good job over there, so I would say those are two of the biggest ones. And, we're excited to get to play anybody. So whenever we play, we'll get out and get after us, and everybody always, gives us their best shot as well.
I just want to, I'm speaking with head coach Kevin Brooks of Angelo State, #1 D2 team in the country. All right. And so he's been blessed to join us, man, and January 9th having a camp out there on the campus, man. So tell me a little about your field, your facilities, as far as
it's unbelievable. We are so blessed. And again, it's sort of really cool having been here at the beginning when it didn't look like that to what it looks like now. But we play in a $6 million facility. Seats, it's a little big. It seats about 5,000, but we draw really well. I think we've led the country in attendance for a long time. We average about 1,200 a game, and it's a great environment. We took out the grass in 2016 and installed AstroTurf, and actually totally redid the field. So we added turf, tore down the wall, put up all padded walls, got rid of all the old seats, put in new seats, all that stuff. So pretty major renovations about 3-4 years ago. And then we used to share the facility with an independent team. And that's how we got baseball, basically. They wanted to build a stadium on our campus. The deal was if we ever added baseball, we'd have use of that. So eventually we did. They went under in 2015, and so it became our stadium. But we didn't have we shared locker rooms with them, and actually that was that 2007. We won the conference tournament. We came back, and all our stuff was thrown out on the field and stuff because they were getting ready to start spring training. And so at that point, I was like, man, we really need our own locker room. So the community really has stepped up and done that. So we've got a huge locker room. We have 4 indoor cages.
Nice.
We have, the Pro Batter pitching machine. We're the only school in Texas that has it. We have 2. We've got the hit tracks. We've got the Rapsodo. We've got everything you need to see how good you can get at baseball.
Nice, man. All right. Anthony says, how many out-of-state guys and how hard do you look out of state?
Like I say, again, this year, I think we have like about 10. How hard do we look out of state? It just depends. It's wherever the road takes us, we go, if that makes sense. So it may be I have a coaching friend over here or just a friend that's like, hey, you really need to check out this guy. Maybe somebody out of the blue calls me and like, hey, I like Angelo State for whatever reason. And then we'll find out about him and the process will sort of go from there. A lot of times, especially with how tournaments and stuff are now, you may have somebody from out of state that came to Texas that were at a tournament in Texas that we get to see. So there are lots of different avenues on how we get guys. Sometimes, and players are always the best recruiters and the best evaluators because they play against these guys. And so a lot of times it's, our pitcher's like, hey, coach, I got a guy from my neck of the woods that is really good. We need to get on. And so that carries a lot of weight as well.
So what's up, Clay? What's going on? So you got the facilities, you got the cost of the school, you got the conference, you got, the powerhouse team over here. I want to make sure I hit all the buttons. January 9th having the camp. So like, what's the future look like for you guys? I mean, you guys are just, what's the 3 to 5 year plan for Angelo State?
Well, hopefully, win a national championship. We haven't done that yet, and that's the number one thing we want to try to accomplish, and hopefully get it accomplished this year. And then again, if that happens and we achieve that, then you try to stay there. And I think that's always the most difficult thing is getting to the mountains a little easier than staying on top of it. And so I think that's a challenge. And then, the one thing I'm so blessed, as coaches, we spend more time around players than we do our families, probably. And, continue to turn out quality human beings. And that's probably the thing I'm most proud of. They're great students. They're great in the community. They're just great people. And so that's the thing that we hopefully will always aspire to do. We want to win a lot of games, and we want to get a lot of guys to be able to realize their baseball dreams as well, which for pretty much every player, they want a chance to go on and play at the next level. And so we want to do everything to have that happen as well.
What's the percentages every year? Are you getting kids drafted every year, or is it just sporadic?
Yeah, I would say, obviously last year with a 5-round deal.
Right. It's tough. Happen,
yeah. I think, one of the stats, I think if you take the last 5 years and you throw out the Power 5 programs in Texas, I think we're second in the state of most guys drafted. So, so more than most of the mid-major Division I's, all those guys.
All right.
So, and we should have, depending on what the draft does this year, but we should have hopefully 5 or 6 this year.
Really? Okay. What is it known for? Like, if I'm playing a Coach Brooks team, I have to look out for this, or you're known for this.
Well, I think hopefully we're just sound. We play good defense. We throw strikes. We swing at strikes, and offensively we're really aggressive. We like to run and put pressure, and we're very fast. I think we got out of our starting lineup 7 out of the 9 are 6'5" or better, and we're really fast. And the great thing is that two of those dudes are 20-plus home run guys too. So that's a good thing.
That's an excellent thing.
Anyway, but
wow.
Offensively, we're gonna be disciplined at the plate, and we're gonna put pressure on you. And then, like I say, pitching wise, we're gonna throw strikes, and we're gonna play defense, and hopefully more than anything, we're gonna play hard every time out and respect the game and do the things that hopefully you need to do to win.
I'm still bugging off of what you just said. 7 out of the 9 is 6'5" or better. That is awesome, Coach.
Yeah, we can run.
I see that. All right, a couple more questions, Coach, and I get you up out of here, man. Mike Barbosa says, any Canadians on your roster?
Heck yeah, those are my favorite dudes. As a matter of fact, I was just texting them last night, getting ready for Boxing Day coming up. We have 2 right now. We have a catcher from Victoria, and then we have a right-hand pitcher from the Toronto area. But I don't know why. I'm an honorary Canadian, which is great because I ask them lots of Canadian trivia, and I get very upset when they don't know it. So anyway, but yes, love those guys.
All right. Janson says, going D1 a long-term goal of you guys?
Us going D1?
Yeah. Is that a long-term goal?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, and my biggest frustration, because I've coached at D1, and, we're going to beat most of the teams. I mean, and I don't mean that as a slight, but, we're really good. And I can tell you, when I was at UTSA, it was the most miserable year of my life coaching, because here's the deal. We have a great year. We win the conference tournament. We get on a bus to Waco, College Station, Austin, or Houston to go play in a regional. We go lose. We come back home. We have a big party like we did something. And we didn't do anything. And so not having the realistic goal of being the best was, for me, demoralizing. And so here we have a chance to be the best. And while the D1 stuff, again, I wish it was like when I played. When we played, I was at Baylor, which is in the Big 12. We were Southwest Conference back then. But we played Dallas Baptist, St. Mary's, Texas Lutheran, Lubbock Christian, and they come in and beat us just as often as we beat them because they were really good. And it's the same thing. We don't have that cross division thing as much as I'd like. But and that's where I'm like, come watch us play, and you'll see we're just every bit as good as any program. So I have no desire to do it because for me, I'm getting old, and there's a 4 or 5 year waiting period before you got a chance to play for anything. Could we get to Omaha? I mean, I obviously believe we probably could, but I know how hard that is in today's world for a non-Power 5 to get it done, even though there have been some that have gotten it done. Coastal Carolina, one of my former players, was their strength coach, Brian Gabriel. Big shout out to him. So so no, I don't see that happening.
All right. And I had a question I couldn't remember. When recruiting, do you have size, strength, and speed numbers that you look for, or baseball skills more important? What catches your eye first?
Well, and I am, old school, new school type thing. Recruiting, I'm probably the worst guy because like on Major League, you've got a 20 to 80 scale on the tools. My assistants really use that for me, and I've been blessed that I've been right a lot more than I've been wrong. I go watch the guy, and within 5 swings I can go yes or no, and 3 or 4 throws I can go yes or no, and obviously been right a lot more than wrong. However, again, we don't have the luxury of seeing guys play multiple times. Right. So those numbers do matter, one, to get us there, and also to give us just a little better feel. So I think, again, everything is there's so many different angles and there's so many different factors. And so I think you got to throw all those together, and then you sort of try to go make your decision.
I want to kind of go back to what you just briefly said, and kind of, me being a hitting guy myself. And it's funny. I talked about this last year, 2019. I took a couple kids to the showcase up at the Northeast at the time, and they were just getting 5-10 swings, the most, right? And I'm glad what you just said, because sometimes kids use their warm up, they don't come necessarily, take them 3 to 4 swings to kind of get into a rhythm. Here you are, big time, college coach over there. So for that kid that comes to your camp January 9th, all right, he has 5 swings to impress you.
We'll get him more than that. But now, yes, let's say he does. Yes.
Okay, just like you said, you gauge, because you and I both know we can look at 3 to 5 swings and know if a kid can swing it or not, right? But saying that, what type of approach, for these listeners, for these parents that may have kids that have not been to a showcase or have but don't know the proper approach to have when it comes to hitting? What are some of the tips that you could just sit and say, hey, this is a solid, way to go to approach, impressing me?
And so this is very specific to me. I'm not saying it's right. You're going to hear a lot of different views on that.
I have a feeling what you're going to say. I have a feeling.
Well, so especially early, I want to go see if he's right-handed, I want to see 3 line drives over the second baseman's head is what I want to see. I think most people really want to, hit home runs in at showcases, because obviously you stand out if you do that. But what we like to do, I like to see them hit the ball where it's pitched, swing at strikes. They want to take pitches in BP. We don't throw balls very often anyway. So, but if it's a ball, take it. That shows me a lot. And I like seeing line drive. I know we've got launch angle and all that stuff. In college baseball, still the batting average on fly balls is 200, and that's home runs, doubles, and triples. And, again, that strength thing hadn't kicked in quite enough yet. They're not grown men yet still. So we like line drives, ground balls. And I love when dudes hit fly balls and they go out, just like everybody else. But, and just like I say, but I'm a big believer and we tell our guys this the very first day they walk on campus, if you cannot hit the ball the other way with authority, you probably can't hit in college baseball. And so that's the first thing. If you have the ability to hit the ball the other way, I can teach you to pull it. That's a lot easier.
Hey, I like it, Coach. Hey, that's what I need to hear, man. All right. 2 more questions, Coach, and I get you out of here, man. All right. My boy Vernon Morenzi, ex-NFL player, my boy over there, says, what's the graduation rate of the student athletes that you coach? We all know that these players can't make a pro.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something really important. I think, they've got official ones. And so I think our official one, they just came out. And so it's also, about 5 years behind because it's on a 6-year deal. I want to say ours is about 70%. But I don't feel like those. So if somebody comes as a freshman and transfers for whatever reason, then they count against us. They still may go on to a different school and graduate.
And drafted too, right?
Or drafted. And then that's the other thing. Our draft guys, they really kill us because they don't graduate within that 6-year time period generally. So it's generally about 7 or 8 because they can't go to school. They're playing minor league baseball. And so, but ours, of guys that have been here, till their senior year, it's really close to 100%. I mean, there's 1 or 2 that haven't, but pretty much all our guys go to class, do a good job. That's one thing I was probably the proudest moment, and this was year 4. We won our conference, but our conference started giving a GPA award as well. And we won that, and you sort of looked at all the teams in the conference that won the GPA award, and unfortunately, those were all the bottom teams. But we were the only one that won on the field and in the classroom. And we had a 3.3 this past fall, which just blew me away. Because just when you have as many people on a team as what we have, you figure you're going to be average, closer to the average, which would be 2.5. And so to get a 3.3 says a lot about our guys.
All right. We have Anthony says, what are the intangibles you look for in your starting outfield for all 3 positions? Speed, power, lefties. What does your program target in outfield?
Oh, goodness. Again, we target good players, but we do love speed. And I love power. So, I mean, it's really tough to define. But so our starting center fielder is a 6'3" guy, left field 6'3" guy, right field 6'4" guy, and 6 foot in the right fielder's D2 player of the year. I mean, he hit 23 home runs. He's got the highest slugging percentage in D2 baseball history. And then, and we didn't really run him very much his first year. And then last year, everybody started walking him. So I was like, all right, well, we're going to get a double out of it. And I think he had 21 stolen bases, 20 games in. So, I mean, that's what we're ultimately looking for, These are
draftable guys, Coach. These guys are going pro, man.
but in center, we want a guy that can really run. If he's a power guy, that's great. But if he's a get on base, bunt, use his speed, as long as he can go get the ball. The one thing I'd say that we might be unusual, we don't really care if our outfielders can throw. I know that sounds crazy, and they all can, but that's okay. If they can, because we go through in a big year, we may have 8 outfield assists.
Right.
That's a huge number for us in a year.
Right.
And so it's just something that doesn't happen. As long as your arm's not so bad, they can't go first to third on every ball hit. We can get there, and we feel like we can get arm strength improved. So, I would say arm would be the least tool that we're looking at. And, if you're a dude that's hit 400 and hit 15 doubles every year and you are slow, then we'll hide you in right field. We'll get 2 fast guys to go along with you. You hit it off the fence and over the fence, and we'll be perfectly happy. So it just sort of depends. And we're really lucky in what we have right now. I mean, we've got guys that fortunately do multiple things well. But that we just got we got a special group right now.
Yeah, I would say so, Coach. 6'3", 6'4", guys banging out all over the place. That's pretty impressive, man. All right. So listen, Coach, I always have my guests, man. I appreciate you so much coming on here, man. We're right at that hour. Um, so I want you to take us out. Well, two things. I'm going to ask you for how to contact you. Video, or is it just do you want to go to the website and I want you to kind of take us out with a strong message. I'm just going to kind of give my little pleasantries and make sure everybody what's coming up for me tomorrow. Let me start with this. January 23rd, I will be having a showcase in Montgomery, Alabama. All right, January 23rd. We are settling on a date between January 9th and 10th for the Pro Style Showcase in Atlanta, Georgia. I will get back with that date. Hopefully by tomorrow, I have it, set in stone. And so January 23rd, January 9th, and again, if you want to sign up for any of those, let me know. I'm gonna have those information out there once I kind of get the flowers and everything built out there. Tomorrow we'll be joined by Seth Thibodeau of Nichols University out in Louisiana, Nichols State. And so we'll be going back to going over to Louisiana, all right, Cajun country down there. All right.
I've been there.
Oh yeah, okay. I've never been to Thibodeau. I haven't been down there. I've been close. I know some people from there, but yeah, we'll have Coach Thibodeau coming down there from down there in Louisiana. So anyway, Coach, if you could, man, give us a good message, man, to take us out. I appreciate your time. January 9th, you got that camp. So if you are in and around the Atlanta area, Atlanta, Angelo, San Angelo area in Texas, or in and around the state of Texas, come and join January 9th. Go and compete, man. Go down there and have fun in front of him, man. He has a powerhouse D2, man. I'm so glad to learn about the school, man. So I think it'd be a great opportunity to go down and be seen. So I'm sending one of my players down there to send my program, and I think you should be a handful over there. Just go down there and compete January 9th. A lot of schools are not having these camps, and they're having them. So take advantage of that. Anyway, Coach, if you could, man, I would love it if you could take us, out with these messages, for the parents, players, or whoever's listening. I would love that.
Well, one, thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate it, and it's been a great experience. Biggest thing, in I think most of us that are in baseball, it's given me everything in my life. It's given me the ability to go places, to meet people, and so it's such a special thing to me. And I would say, make sure keep it going great and keep it respect the game, work hard at it. Again, while we got to work hard and all that stuff, they don't say work baseball, they say play baseball. So go out and play. It's especially with the COVID, it was very painful having to tell our guys at the end of it was at the end of a practice one day and we were done. And I'll never forget, and it actually brought tears to my eyes. 2 days later, it was raining a little bit, and we're lucky we've got lights, and they can call me and say, Coach, can you turn the lights on? So it was a Sunday night. Season ended on Thursday, and they're like, Coach, can we turn on the lights? And I was like, yeah, what are y'all doing? They're like, well, we just want to play. And so Sunday night and drizzle, they sent me video, and it just, how important it is to our players. And, whether they're playing on a sandlot or they're playing in the World Series for a national championship, just how much this game means to the players that are in it, to those of us that are involved in it. And so I just think it's so important, and I just feel so blessed to be it. And obviously, if we can ever assist in any way, we'd love to do it. And, hope to see some of y'all at camp. And if not, if there's any other way we can ever assist, because more than anything, I think, and most coaches are like this, we just want to see kids do well. You know, that's the bottom line. Whether they're our kids or somebody else's, we enjoy watching the game played at a high level, and obviously respect those that get after it. And you can just you know, like, it's special when you watch a guy. You're like, that dude he just loves playing.
That's playing, yeah.
And so I would say, don't ever forget that. Sometimes we get caught up in things that maybe we shouldn't. And this is the guy, you know, I get fired if we don't win. So, and I got to remind myself of that sometimes as well. But it's just a blessing to be involved in the game, and feel very thankful.
Well, listen, man, I think that you want a lot of fans today, man. And what I do ask, though, Coach, and I'll email you this. Obviously, look at my player that I'm sending you, but also when I do have that showcase, if you're not doing anything, I know you probably be practicing, but if the time slot is there, I want to add you to the live streaming aspect, because I live stream these showcases. And, you know, if you have the time and one of your assistants, anybody will have access to that link, I'll send it out to you guys, and you guys can take a look at it. And I hope that, you know, like I said, we formed this relationship. Yeah. And, you know, in the past, I'm doing these in different parts of the country, this whole 2021. So I'm going to add you to that list if it's okay with you.
Absolutely.
All right, good deal. So, all right, Coach, man, appreciate it, my brother. Thank you for coming on. January 9th, guys, go check out his camp. Tomorrow we're on with Nicholls State head coach, and we're going to keep this ball rolling. Thank you so much, Coach, for coming on, man.
Thank you.
All right.